Hey everybody, I'm Mama Baird and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be freeze drying up some canned green beans. The main reason for me getting my freeze dryer is that I was wanting to make some diabetic friendly meals for my mom, and I think having canned green beans is a great snack for her. And the best part about it is that it becomes crunchy like a chip. Because when you're diabetic, you really miss the things that you can't have, right? So green beans make a great snack for any diabetic, but sometimes you don't just want to eat a whole can of green beans, right? You want a little flavor, you want a little crunch. So I'm going to be trying several different seasonings and see what we like best. For half a cup of canned green beans is 5 carbs, but 2 of that is fiber. So it's only 3 carbs for half a cup, which makes this a great snack. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try several different types of seasonings. I'm going to be trying Old Bay, sriracha sea salt, garlic powder, everything but the bagel seasoning, taco seasoning, red hot riplet seasoning, and ranch. I think all of these different seasonings are going to taste fantastic on these green beans. So we're going to separate them and hopefully I'll remember which one's which. So let's get in here and I'll show you what to do. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Carolina and I live in Montana. I do a lot of food bank hauls, pantry cooking and canning and preserving on my channel. If that's the kind of content you're into, I hope you consider subscribing. I would love to have you come join my family. All right guys, let's get into these green beans and see how they turn out. First thing I'm going to do is just open up my can of green beans and I'm going to drain these as well as rinse them. I want to get any of that sodium flavored water out of there so we can taste more of the seasoning we put on there, and hopefully you can get some of that salt rinsed off. One of the things I want to show you that I did is for each side of these, I'm going to have one tray labeled 1A and then the next side of it is 1B. And then I did the same thing with trays 2 and 3. So that way when I label what side's what, I have it already labeled. I don't have to write on here, make any notes. It's easier to identify which one's which. So this is one of those big cans, drained and rinsed. I think that would cover up one whole tray. I don't think I'm going to do any more. Alright, that's just 2 regular cans. Let's see if I can do one more. Hopefully this looks the same. One of those was a Costco can and the other was a Food Club brand. Oh yeah, these are just a little smaller diced. Alright, so these ones are a little smaller bits. Hopefully I don't overcrowd it. We'll see. We'll see. So hopefully these will be easy to pop in our mouth and won't get stuck all together. So for this half, I'm going to use ranch just salad dressing. This is the Winco brand. Nothing fancy. Since our green beans are wet, I am pretty optimistic that this will stick. Just kind of shuffle a little bit. There we go. So I'm gonna write green beans, and then I'm gonna write today's date, March 3rd. And that was side 1. We'll do 1B is ranch. Okay, so for 1A, let's do the garlic powder. My mom requested the garlic powder. She said that's her favorite, is garlic stuff. Garlic green beans. Oops. All right, so 1A garlic. Okay, I'm gonna use taco seasoning. Right here. And then let's do everything but the bagel seasoning for the front. All right, so I added that on our list. 2A is the everything and 2B is the taco seasoning. Then I think I'm going to skip the Old Bay seasoning. I don't have enough for that. And for the third tray, I'm going to use the Red Hot Riblets seasoning. My mom didn't really want anything spicy, so this is more for me and husband to see how we like this. This is some seasoning a subscriber sent me. You guys are so good to me, you really are. And then for the top ones, I'm going to do Sriracha Sea Salt. Look at this one, even comes with a little spoon. Oh, he's so cute. Okay, so those are probably teaspoons. Just gotta mix them up a bit, make sure every bean is coated. Now putting salt and seasoning on these might bring out some of the moisture, but that's okay. The freeze dryer will take care of that. I'm going to do a little extra coating of that. That's a pretty big pot right there. There we go. All right, and then I added those to the list. 3A is the riplet seasoning and 3B is the sriracha salt. So let's get these green beans into the freezer to get a head start and get them frozen. Alright guys, my beans are frozen solid, so we're gonna go ahead and get them in the freeze dryer. So, Alright, and then I'm gonna start. Customize. Oh, I don't want to cancel. Oh, they have extra dry timer stuff here. That's cool. Alright, start. Alright, the green beans are in. So we're going to let her do her thing, and then we'll check them when they're done. Can't wait to try them. Alright, everybody, the green beans are out. I have them separated just in a Ziploc bag. So we got taco, garlic, ranch, riblets, sriracha salt, and everything seasoning. So we are looking forward to giving these a try. I may or may not have tried one, I'm not telling. Next round in the freeze dryer are some of my liver chunks. So I did a live where I tried making liver and onions. I can leave that below if you want to watch it, because I make quite a face when I taste it. And I decided for the rest of the liver, I'm going to freeze dry it for snacks for my dog and send some for my dad for all of his dogs. Because my dad's got 4 dogs, so I'm going to be sending some to him as well. So these are going to go in the freeze dryer. I already pre-froze them. My freeze dryer is drained, ready to go for its second round. So let's load her up. All right, I'm going to load up my freeze dryer. Now, one thing I noticed when it was defrosting was that some of the water pooled down here on the table and didn't make it into the bucket. So anybody who's watching my video who is a pro freeze dryer, if you could give me some advice on that. I think it's probably because the freeze dryer needs to be elevated to push that water back to that valve. So if that's the case, please let me know if that's right. If that's not right, then please just let me know what you believe I need to do. I put some towels under there to kind of lift it up, and I think that solved the problem, but I would still listen to any advice. I'm going to put, now this is just raw liver cut into pieces, frozen together. Hopefully it being on top of each other is not going to be a big deal, and it's going to freeze dry evenly. It did fine with the green beans. I had them all spaced out, but I don't really want to run 2 different loads of liver. I'd rather get it all done at one time, and I filled up all 3 trays. So I'm just going to do it once, and hopefully it'll get in between each layer. So we're going to close the door. I just closed the drain valve. Then I'm going to press continue. And now it's freezing down, and we shall let it go. The green beans took 42 hours, so that's quite a long time, but a lot of water came out of it. Here's the bucket of water. So I would say at least 6 cups of water came out of those green beans. So that is amazing. Like, the process of freeze drying is just absolutely remarkable. So now that the green beans are out, we're gonna give them a try. I got the liver going again, so I hope my freeze dryer is ready because I'm already putting her through quite the workout. I haven't named her yet. I know you're supposed to name a freeze dryer, so what are your names for your freeze dryer? You guys leave me in the comments below. I'd love to hear and get some ideas. Maybe you have an idea of what I can name mine. So that's where I'm at in the freeze drying timeline at the moment. So I'll bring it back when we have more freeze drying to do.
Oh yeah?
I think he approves. Is it good with Jackie boy? Is that good? Was that good? Good boy. Oh yeah, we got a wagging tail. We got a wagging tail, that's good. Oh yeah, that's good. Alright, so I vacuum sealed the liver, but as you can see, it is broke because it kind of punctured the vacuum seal bags. This is why it's important to actually put this in Marlar bags. I am missing the heat seal though. My Aunt Dinah says that hers broke like pretty soon after they got it, so that's kind of disappointing for her that it broke so soon. I am going to be looking for another one though, so I'm just going to put these in some jars and send them for now. I'm going to be sending these to my dad who has 4 dogs, so I can see him going through these quite quickly. And then we have the different types of green beans. So we have garlic, the sriracha salt, ranch, everything, taco, and then riblets. So let's give this a try. I think I'm going to start with the ranch. That seems like that'll be the calmest flavor. I mean, it's not bad. It tastes a lot like green beans still. It's very crunchy. Okay, that's okay. I would say that's an alright one. I probably won't do that one again. Alright, everything. This one didn't really get any seasoning stuck to it. This one does have some of the sesame seeds. Yeah, it looks like most of the seasoning fell off of this one. So they just kind of just taste like green beans. Same thing. Probably wouldn't do these ones again. All right, let's try the taco. Hold on. Hold on. Cleanse the palate. Okay. Taco seasoning. Oh. Oh, that one was good. So it looks like there's quite a bit of seasoning on the bottom. It tastes pretty taco-y though. I think that's my favorite so far. I could see eating more than that, more than one of those. All right. Sriracha salt. This one's super dry. Like my marriage. Woo! That's spicy. Like my marriage. If you dog them down, you gotta bring them back up every once in a while, you know what I'm saying? Ooh, that one is spicy. I like that one. All right, and then the riblets. I still think the taco is my favorite so far. Hold on. Cleanse palate. All right. Riblets. Oh, I like that. This seasoning stuck on really well here, or I really laid it on. I like that they're little smaller pieces too. So it's less like green bean. Now remember, whenever you're snacking on stuff like this, you have to make sure you drink extra water. Or coffee? No, water. Water. Because that'll help, yeah, like it's gonna absorb all the water out of your body, you know, to rehydrate this in your stomach. So you want to make sure that you make up for the fact that this is freeze-dried by drinking extra water. Well, I'd say this was a success. Probably the ranch, everything. Did I try the garlic yet? I think I tried the garlic. Woo! That was too much garlic. Whoa. Now I might be able to rehydrate those and like make a casserole out of it. So even though it has the flavor, it doesn't mean that all is lost. I could probably still reuse it. Hey everybody. So it's been a bit since I recorded all of that. I have just been freeze drying away, and I kind of want to go through what I've been doing, what I'm going to be sending to my mom, meals that I've made, and just show you what I've been doing. I haven't been recording every single time I freeze dry something because it's pretty much the same process. You freeze it, you put it in the freeze dryer, you take it out, you preserve it, you know? So I haven't recorded every single thing, but I'm going to go through what I did and kind of go through what it looks like if I can. I have kind of prepackaged it all. I'm going to go over kind of what I've freeze dried already and I have stored up. Here I made some broth, and I'm going to use up whatever broth I have left in jars, and then the rest of it I'm going to freeze dry. So this is freeze dried chicken broth. I do need to run it through my blender so it's a little more powdery. And then I have some banana powder, which I pretty much freeze dried a whole case of bananas and got about 4 of these plus this. So this is what I'm going to be using for smoothies and or like banana pancakes, muffins, anything like that. Just do a couple scoops of this for the banana. And then here's some freeze dried eggs. Again, I do need to run it through my blender like with the chicken stock. I have a lot of eggs, so I'm slowly starting to freeze dry them in between batches of things, and this is what I have. I have not rehydrated this yet though, so that'll be fun. And then here's some cooked eggs that I had a little bit of bacon and some onions in there, and this was just leftovers that I had in the fridge and no one was eating it, so I threw it in the freeze dryer. So I have yet to reconstitute this either and see what it tastes like, but it looks pretty cool all freeze dried. And then I pulled some cilantro from my freezer and threw it in the freeze dryer. So this still has the darkness of it being frozen, but it's dry like dehydrated one. So it's really interesting, and I'm glad to have gotten this cilantro out of my freezer and have it on my shelf now. And here's some diced peppers and onions. I think those just look so pretty. And here's some baby carrots I just threw through the dicer, and then I freeze dried them because they were getting dry. You can even see like the dryness on them where they were when I cut them. So that's pretty cool. A little bit of peppers in there, but it's fine. Here's some freeze dried cooked rice. So that's kind of make like minute rice. I'm slowly getting all my frozen veggies out of my freezer. So here's some frozen peas that are now freeze dried. And then I diced up a bunch of my onions and freeze dried this. Angela, you were super excited about freeze dried onions, and I can see why. They are just gorgeous, super flaky. You can blend these up and make your own onion powder if you want. But man, I gotta tell you, my chest freezer is still stinky. And then here's some ham. I diced up some ham. I might do a little bigger dice next time, but this freeze dried absolutely beautiful, and I got 2 quarts out of what I have. So I have this one plus a backup. And then whenever I'm done with my oxygen absorbers, I've just been putting it in a jar and then vacuum sealing the top of it. I have 4 jar lids here. They have been working fantastic. I definitely noticed a difference of my jars not popping up as much with the 4 jars versus the balls or the cures. But is this what you guys do as well if you have extra oxygen absorbers to do this? Or how do you break up a big packet of it is my question. Those are all the jars that I have on my shelf that I'm currently using, rotating, opening up as we go. Oh, I also have freeze-dried parsley that I'm putting on everything. And then in here is what I'm planning on sending to my mom. So like I made her some tomato soup and I put an oxygen absorber, and you can tell it's really working because you see how tight that suction is. That means that the oxygen absorber is doing its job and it absorbed any last bit of oxygen that I had in there before I sealed it. Also, one of you guys told me that a hair straightener works fantastic to seal Mylar bags, and by golly, you were right. And I happen to have one that I got for $4 at Goodwill. That's the one thing I do to my hair is I straighten it every once in a while, and it worked fantastic. So thank you for that tip. I didn't have to go buy a heat press. So that tomato soup, I do have a video on the tomato soup that I made for my mom. So there's that. Here's another tomato soup, and I just wrote the month that I had on there. And she loved my tomato soup, so that's what there's a lot of in here. Tomato soup, tomato soup. Here's some beef stew I made for her. This is just like leftover pot roast and then a bunch of canned veggies with tomato juice. So I have beef stew. She really liked that while she was here. And that's tomato soup, tomato soup. So these are pretty much portions where she could probably have 2, make up 2, so she'll have leftovers that she can munch on. So I'm gonna be mailing mostly soups for her. This will fit, you know, pretty nicely. I'm trying not to crush it up too much. Like the tomato soup doesn't matter because that's blended anyway, but like the beef stew, try and keep that a little chunky because I got chunks of like potatoes and carrots in there, you know. And then this is stuff that I've been freeze drying as well that I'm getting ready to put into like long-term storage. So mostly what I've been doing here is like taking my frozen veggies. So here's a quart of sweet peas. The way that I've been measuring it, now this isn't a quart, I'm going to switch to a quart when I'm done with this jar. But I've been filling a quart up and then I'll pour the quart into here and then seal it. So it gives me a little extra space that I probably could have fit more product in there. But whenever I open this, I want to make sure that I'm refilling a jar that's the same size so I don't have extra that I have to put in a second jar. So that's kind of my thought process as to why I'm using this size and why I'm only putting that amount in there. And then I just write on here 1 quart sweet peas in the month and the year, and that's going in my long-term storage. And then I have frozen broccoli medley that I just brought out of the freezer. It was like a California blend of broccoli, cauliflower, and carrots. And then an extra frozen bag of broccoli, and that's all it fits in there. Here's some freeze-dried corn that I did, same thing, trying to get the corn out of there. So it's 3 cups of corn, and then the month and the year. So now I have a lot more space in my freezer that has veggies out of it. Here's some cooked curry chicken that was left over, so I just shredded it really thin and freeze-dried it. And now I have a pack of curry chicken, which it wasn't really too curry. It wasn't very flavorful. It needed some more power, you know. And then another thing I got out of my freezer was a big bag of diced avocado, and I haven't really been using it, but it would be good for guacamole and things like that. So I went ahead and freeze-dried the frozen avocado, and then I powdered it up, and now I put it in little portions here. I'm thinking I can open it up, mix it up, make some avocado toast. I could add this to smoothies if I wanted to put it in there. And it was a 3-pound bag. And I got 3, 6, 8 of these little packages. And I put them in the smaller packages so that way I don't have like a big thing of avocados when I'm just going to need a little bit. I don't feel like I'm going to go through a lot of avocado like I would corn. So that's why I put them in the smaller ones. These ones are clear in the front so you can see what's in there, which they say it's better to have completely covered so they'll last longer. So we'll see how this goes, kind of a little experiment on this, but I like that they're in smaller portions because I know that I'm not going to need a lot at a time. And if I do, then I just grab 2. So that's kind of what I have freeze-dried, I have stored up. Right now I have some leftovers in the freeze dryer. I got some black bean and sweet potato stew in there, some Moroccan chicken with rice, and then I made some butternut squash mac and cheese. And I just happened to make a lot of those. They've been sitting in the fridge because I've been cooking a lot, so we have a lot of leftovers. So I was like, you know what, let's just start getting some of this stuff in the freeze dryer so that way when we go camping, we have a variety of food already packed up and ready to go. So I'm gonna have like a tote of pre-made meals ready to go, and then we'll have one of like just ingredients. So that's kind of my plan. That's my thought process on it. That's what I've been up to with my freeze drying. Thank you everybody for coming along this journey with me and helping me along the way. I'm ecstatic to have my freeze dryer. I need to get my hands on a bigger one. This is a small and I really want one of those larges. I feel like I could do a lot of good with that. But alas, we must deal with what we have and use what we got, and that is what I'm doing, and my poor freeze dryer has not had a break. But thank you for coming along and supporting me and my family. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you next time on Mama Baird's.